Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today we are joined by the lovely Jane. Jane, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Obsessima?
I'm doing really well, and I'm very excited because we haven't had you on the show before, and I really want to find out about your journey, but more so why you decided to become a guide. Because for people watching, they might not understand, but in the Modern Mystery School, we have a path, and we have people who are called a guide who initiate others so that they can then walk the path of initiation, do rituals, and have magic in their life, and joy, and all the wonderful things.
Yes.
But this journey to be a guide, it's not easy. And only a handful of people that apply are accepted. So congratulations to you, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so tell us, why did you want to become a guide? What was it that drove you? And, feel free to share a little bit about your background and such like as well.
Yes. So, it's funny because when I first started studying in the lineage and with the school, I would tell people, I'm just here because I love the tools and I love the practices and it resonates with me, but I don't want to be a healer. I'm not a healer. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a guide, right? And at the time, I was still very attached to the concept that I am a scientist. Um, and so how did I get here, right? How did I get from there to here? And really, there are two main aspects that ended up really driving me to become a guide in the lineage. And the first is really that, as I mentioned, I was here for me, right? And as I continued to study and I did Empower Thyself, and then I did the Kabbalah Ascension program, and then, as I continued to study and use the tools in my life, the miracles that happened for me were just undeniable. The fruits were undeniable. And it got to the point where I was sitting here looking at my life, my children's lives, because I'm a mother. I have a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old daughters. And at the time when I first started walking this path, they were 8 and 4. And so their lives were very important to me, still are very important to me. And I was looking at the quality of our relationships and our lives and the things I was able to create for me and for them, and and the possibility and the potential. And I was like, I can't know about this and keep that to myself. I can't know that there exists something that can honestly save people's lives and not turn around and be able to then bring that to the world. And that kind of brings me to sort of the second main component as to why I became a guide, because I always knew, even from a tiny young age, as soon as my earliest memories of knowing myself, I knew I had a purpose. I knew I was here to do something. And it was actually that really drove me into science, because I was so connected to the natural world, even from an early age, because that's where I could find God and I could see the beauty of God's creation and all things great and small, right? I could see the beauty of the divine expression. And so it was really a spiritual urge to get into science. And also because I believed that's how I could most help the world. And I felt that, that purpose, that drive to serve from a very young age. I was here for a reason, and it was to make the world a better place. And, I knew it had something to do with this beautiful gift of life that surrounded us. And so as I started to become more familiar with the path and walk the path, and then I knew, oh, I can't keep this to myself, and then I became a life activation practitioner. And then I started to see the magic working in my clients' lives. And as I continued to understand my purpose, I realized the tools I had been looking for to accomplish my purpose were these tools. And so that really, those two things together, the desire to help and make the world a better place, and the understanding that that is my purpose, really came together in being a guide.
I love that. And I love that again, coming from that scientific background, you,
Mhm.
we often assume that science or engineering or, accountancy, these types of brains, let's say, are very much anti-spirituality or but it's not the case, is it?
No, and in fact, even throughout history, right? If you look at the greatest scientists throughout history, they were all very spiritual people. Einstein was a devoutly, profoundly spiritual person. He was wanting to know the mystery, and that's what brought me to science. I wanted to discover. I had that curiosity. I wanted that thrill of exploring the mystery of creation. And this is true all the way back. I mean, Sir Thomas Aquinas wrote famously that science and spirituality are not mutually exclusive. And that we shouldn't see religion and science as, he was talking about religion at the time, but spirituality as oppositional to one another, that they are actually tools that we can integrate to understand a greater wholeness. So yeah, I think that one of the biggest things that is missing from science today is that understanding of our own history, that science was birthed from a spiritual desire at the end of the day.
And I love that because I think, just having this conversation is going to bring more people forward in at least experiencing and trying something like the life activation or receiving initiation and such like. Because, in our schools, certainly in the UK, when I was in school, it was very separate.
Yes.
We weren't encouraged to mix the two, and so therefore everybody kind of chose their lane, if you like, and
Right.
stuck to
Yes.
it. But
Right.
but going back to what you were saying is that everybody feels that call to find their purpose, and
Yes.
we do need that spiritual practice to help us find that. That's just the way it is. It's not going to
It's just the
come
way it is.
you know
Yes.
so in your journey then, obviously you've gone through all of this, and then you've decided to become a guide. Why serve at that level, and why what would you say to people out there that are looking or searching for something and they're not quite sure? What would you say in choosing a good guide would be
Mm,
something, how could you help them?
yes. So it's important. First off, I think most often, so okay, a couple things. First off, there may not be many options in your area. At which point, just go for it. Take, if there's one guide in your area, trust them. The training in the school is incredible. There's a rigorous process. There are high standards that we all have to meet. So I think any guide in the lineage is a wonderful choice. So kind of start there. If you are in an area where there is more than one guide, or if you have the ability to travel, um, then what I would really recommend is find the resonance, because everybody has a different journey and a different expertise in their service, and you'll know when you find that person, who, when the people who come to me and who really like to work with me, I can also see, I'm like, okay, here's, we share pieces of this lived experience, and I know how to serve them, or we share this a adoration of science. Not everybody that I serve does, but that's a good example, right? Or I serve a lot of mothers because I'm a mother, but I also serve fathers. I also serve single people. But every single person has a point of connection with me. And so I think it's important to feel that connection with your guide, even if you can't, like, don't think, it's not a thought process, it's a feeling process.
And what would you say to those people that perhaps haven't yet found the mystery school,
Mm,
or they're just out there searching? What makes the path
mhm.
different, or why would they give the life activation or initiation a go? What do you feel?
Yes. So one of the things that is true for me and is also true for many, many people that I have spoken to in the mystery school who study with the mystery school and are in the lineage, is that we were searching, we were searching, we were searching, and then we found empower thyself, for which the life activation is a prerequisite, and then we stopped searching. So if you're searching, it means you haven't found it. So I strongly suggest that you give this a try, because the number of people I have spoken to, including myself, who say, I was looking, I was looking, I was looking, and then I stopped looking is astronomical in the lineage. And the other thing is, and the thing that I love a lot about this work and these classes and these sessions and all of it, is it's all about your own experience. And sometimes that's hard for people when I'm talking to them because they want to know what their experience is going to be. And I can't tell them that because it's their experience. And so just allow yourself to have a new experience in your life. That's why we're here living, is to explore and be curious and to have a new experience and see what it's like. So that's a big thing that I try to encourage people to do in general.
I absolutely love that piece of advice. So yes, our time has whizzed by. I mean, we could chat all night. I know,
I
and
know we could really keep going.
we could keep going. Please come back on the show and we can talk about the various, different classes and sessions and
I
such
would
like.
love that.
Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, if somebody wants to find you, where
Mhm.
can they find you? What
Yeah.
area are you in, and how do they find you?
So I live in Austin, Texas, and I serve in the Austin area. Um, you can find me, I'm listed as a certified guide on the Modern Mystery School website, just modernmysteryschoolint.com. And you can find all of the certified practitioners in across the whole world on that website. That's a great one. And then I don't know, um, can you post maybe did you post a little bio or anything?
Yes, I did. So
Great. Well, if you Google me, I have a couple websites, they'll pop up.
yeah, perfect. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and those pieces of wisdom. And thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. And I just absolutely adore any opportunity to chat with you about the magic that we live. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you everybody else for tuning in, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.